I enjoyed the holidays, but I didn't need it so desperately anymore. Usually the first effect you see on your holidays is that you stop yelling at the kids. You start managing all of these like unique special situations during holidays with much more calm, much more grounded. Because more than what you say and preach and teach, they are not listening to that more than what they are observing you do every day. It's okay to be human and make mistakes. Let's just try not to repeat the same mistakes over and over again and then apologizing for it, okay? What's the fastest way to stop yelling and manage your big emotions, no matter if it is while recovering from holidays that didn't go the way you wanted, or preparing for the new school year that already brings you anxiety and stress just by thinking about it now? How to do it the fastest? Step 1, start healing your own childhood patterns that are showing up. Step 2, in the meantime, ideally done in parallel, rewire those automated habits of yelling and stressing and everything, all that anxiousness that you're putting on your kids. Because if you've been struggling with this, your inability to manage your big emotions, if you've been struggling with this for a while, you already know this is not about your kids. This is not about them having tantrums. This is not about you running late in the morning. This is not about the lack of support you have and that nobody's helping you. All of these are happening. No joke, your life is tough. But what's the common denominator? What's the root cause of all of this is within you, and this is the good news. That's where you have the power to start cleaning it up. And this is what the Zen Supermom podcast is about, is giving you the tools and sharing with you the stories, mine and of women I'm working with, so that you know it's possible and you know what it takes. So let's look at it. It's the middle of August at the time of my recording. I just came back from my holidays, and I want to share with you something I noticed, not just for myself, but I also heard it from my clients that I'm working with. What becomes possible once you stop making it and focusing on the kids, and you start focusing what is it that you can do with yourself that changes the entire atmosphere of your home and that makes everything calmer, more grounded, and it helps everybody have much more fun while you still feeling in control and respected by your kids, and kids are listening more and want to cooperate more. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, let's talk about it. How? Hi, and welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. I'm Elena, your host, and I often call myself a mommy tantrum specialist because I used to be a specialist at yelling at my daughter, and I have no shame calling it what it was because I know I'm not the only one. And I know this is one of the biggest motherhood taboos that we need to talk about and we need to heal so that we break that generational cycle of like putting the parenting stress and unhealed emotions onto our kids and just making it look normal. You're such a snowflake, you're complaining. Like, no, that needs to stop. And if you've been here listening to this first podcast episode, or you have listened to any of the 150 plus episodes I've recorded in the past, welcome. I see you and I appreciate you for being the brave generational cycle breaker that you are. Now, this episode is kind of like a summer update and prep for the new school year because I can already see it coming whenever September comes. Like, this is not my first rodeo. This is not my first year. Whenever September comes, it goes like in full panic mode. We start receiving so many emails from moms who are struggling, who are feeling totally overwhelmed and in so much anxiety about helping their kids transition into the school schedule, trying to do it all, like going back to their work and businesses and get into the rhythm while helping the kids. And there's so many demands and so many new time routines, and kids are waking up in the morning so like crunchy and like they don't want to get up and they're so tired, and you feel like not getting up because it's getting darker and colder, and it's like full panic mode always. So if that already brought you some anxiety, notice, take a breath, and let's get ahead of it, shall we? Let's start taking some action before it gets so bad, okay? Because especially if you're seeing this is your typical September pattern, notice that's not really your kid's fault. It's not even your fault. I'm not here to blame you either, huh? I'm not here to shame moms. I have the most respect for you. I'll be the first one to point the finger at myself that this used to be me. But this is why I wanted to talk to you today. It doesn't have to be that way. Because I just came back from my 2 weeks of holidays. And while I've been on my healing and like a brain rewiring journey for years, this summer was really different. Not only did I not put anything on my calendar, I had 0 work calls while feeling 0 guilt or pressure or stress for not doing that. And if you're a business owner, you know what I'm talking about, because it's not like your employer sends you money every month, even if you're on holidays. Like if you're self-employed or a business owner, 0, right? This was the first year where I felt 0 pressure. And not only that, so not only there was like lack of stress, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed those 2 weeks off. I was able to fully disconnect and be fully present with my family. And for my clients who have been thinking like, oh my goodness, what are you telling me? I thought this is what you've been living already for the last 10 years. Oh, of course not. I will be the first one to put myself out of that pedestal. Don't put me on a pedestal, okay? Not only it's like too much pressure for me, I don't want your expectations weighing down on myself and triggering my judge, but also permission granted not to be perfect, permission granted for your own healing journey to take as much time as you need. Okay, so while I have been making progress over the years, I still, even last holidays, I can remember I was in my work mailbox almost every day. Like at least every 48 hours, I was checking on emails. I was replying to emails. I was still working behind the scenes. I was directing my team. We were managing some like urgencies and stuff. Last year, even though I was not taking the time for calls already, I don't think I had any work calls last year, but I was still so connected to the business. I was still taking the pulse every other day at least, that I felt like I could not let go. And I was half on my holidays and still half of my mind was still with the business. Okay. And I know I'm not the only one. I know I heard that also from my clients, and they are like, everybody's calming down. They are not yelling at their kids. And even if the kids are tired and they are hungry and the days are too long, and so then they are having tantrums. And then if they're having family holidays with their extended family, the clients, like the moms I work with, they get triggered because they feel judged by their parents or siblings, that they're judging them for not being a good mom because their kids are not behaving, they're not being good kids. So then the moms becomes like stronger in managing the kids again. So that the kids don't reflect bad on their parenting skills. So it's like all kinds of messed up. And so this is the first, usually how I see like the Zen Supermom journey evolving. Usually the first effect you see on your holidays is that you stop yelling at the kids. You start managing all of these like unique, special situations during holidays with much more calm, much more grounded. Okay, we just had one of the moms was just sharing in a Facebook group. Hi there, thank you so much. I'm going to use your story, of course, anonymously. But she was just sharing that there was a situation that husband was planning all the holidays, so she let go completely with like trying to control and trying to prepare everything, and then feeling so resentful because nobody appreciated it. So she said, okay, you want to go on holidays? You plan it, you schedule it, you take the time to do all the prep and planning, right? So he did. They enjoyed. She stayed like hands off. But then there was a day when they were still thinking like, okay, we have last day on the beach. And she suddenly realized, what's the date? It's our checkout day. We have to leave in half an hour. And so full panic. And she was sharing, well, normally I would have lost it. I would have shouted at my husband. I would have like made everybody so stressed out. I would have completely freaked out. And we would think about like this holiday, maybe even 10, 20 years later, thinking like, this would have tinted the whole experience, right? And we would have remembered this moment, this freak out panic and parents completely yelling for the rest of our lives, right? And so this time it was different. She didn't do that. She was able to stay calm and grounded, and they managed the situation, okay? So this is what's different, and this is what becomes possible once you start working with yourself and your triggers and your automated reactions to start rewiring them through your brain, literally. Because whenever there is a situation that feels out of your control, you also have out of control emotional response to it, right? Have you noticed? When is the last time there was a situation that was completely like coming out of nowhere, you didn't see it coming, and you completely reacted in a way you regret it afterwards? And you thought, well, yes, it was a bad situation, but also I could have handled it with more calm and be an example for my kids on how to manage stress, but I lost it instead. Okay, so this is what becomes possible. Once you start rewiring that autopilot, you can become calmer. Okay, you can be more grounded even when things around you are not going well. And that's not going to happen by count till 10 or just think positive. Or yes, it's about the kids, so you just have to put your kids under control so that they listen and don't make you late. Like, no, in situations like this, you can see like there was zero fault on the kids' side, right? And even when it was the fault of the husband, what benefit does it bring you if you spend the next half an hour, the last half an hour of time you have to get ready and leave, if you spend that half an hour yelling at him? That's not going to help you sort out the situation, and it's just going to traumatize your kids. It's not going to teach them anything good, right? So this is the first step. This is what becomes possible once you start rewiring your own patterns. You will be able to stay calm and grounded even when shit happens. Okay. The next step, and this is what I was already able to do, like more or less in last years, but what brought it all together for me this year was the fact that I let go of my fears. I let go of the fear of what happens if I disconnect. Because notice that so often, to help you with that next step, so not only clean up like the negative baggage stuff, clean up the trauma, clean up the anger, clean up the yelling, that's the first step. It's like getting rid of the negative. But then a lot of people get stuck on the plateau in between. Like, okay, there's no drama, but then, okay, where's the good thing? Like everybody's talking about it, that self-love, unconditional self-love, or enjoying it, being a present mom, being a happy mom, being a healthy role model for the kids. Like, how does that happen? Because so many moms I'm talking to, they tell me, I'm not yelling. I don't have anger explosions. I am talking to my kids nicely, calmly, with patience. I tell them 10 times, 100 times. They're still not listening. Sorry to bring it to you, but it's the same. I don't care if you're yelling or not. Like letting kids bulldoze over your boundaries or not do what needs to get done, even if you ask them 100 times, that's a problem as well. And it has the same root cause. It's how you were raised, how you were taught what your boundaries are and what is okay for you to like stick to your boundaries or not. How boundaries look like, how relationships look like, how much you're worth. If you're worthy of unconditional love. If you can deserve to feel good enough without having to people please and avoid drama. Right? All of these little things, that's all underneath. Okay. So first step is to clean that up. But then also, if you want to stop the plateau and get to the point when you actually start enjoying your life and you start feeling like you don't have to escape your life for 2 weeks of holidays per year, that you feel like you don't need the holidays. That's what I felt for the first time ever. I enjoyed the holidays, but I didn't need it so desperately anymore because I was not burning out. I didn't need the holidays to prevent a burnout for September, October, November, when we will have like a high intake of new clients and a lot of work because I'm finishing the book, I'm starting PhD. Like I'm more busy than I ever was in my life. While being a business owner, having a growing team, and of course, first of all, being a present mom, trying to be the healthy role model for my daughter. This was the first time that I felt I don't need the holidays to prepare and to take a breath before I dive in the next stressful period of the year. Because I have a system. I'm not only preaching and coaching and teaching and trauma healing for my clients, I am living this myself every day. Because this is what keeps me grounded, this is what keeps me humble, and this is what keeps me with zero judgment for my clients, because I know exactly how hard it is and how tempting it is to give into my own childhood patterns of hyperachieving, perfecting, controlling, and like avoiding dramatic situations, right? Judging myself, criticizing myself, comparing myself, who's doing what and if I'm doing enough. I know how tempting it is because I have run my life on that for the first 40 years of my life almost. Yeah. But this is what becomes possible. And I'm sharing it not just for me and to show off how amazing and perfect I am, but because I also heard it from my clients. That this was the holidays they did not need to take it to prevent a burnout. It was the holidays they fully were able to enjoy it and be present and be immersed and start asking the questions like, wouldn't it be fun if? And so for you, wouldn't it be fun if you stopped feeling like the victim of your life and victim of motherhood and planning and executing on your holidays just to make your kids happy, right? Just not to feel like a selfish mom. How would that look like? How did your holiday go actually? If you went to spend any time off with your family or extended family with your kids, how did that go? What parts of that do you wish you could clean up? What in it triggered you? Was it about other people? Was it about your kids? Did they not react to what you planned for them? Were they not as happy and appreciative and grateful for all the time and money and energy you spent in planning and organizing this holiday for them? Or was it about your family that you felt judged? Was it about spending too much time with them and seeing all the things that are screwed up about you and that were maybe screwed up in your childhood? Or was your holiday actually so amazing that you felt kind of like frustrated and sad and depressed that it had to finish? And now you're just bracing for the impact and for the cold weather and the rainy weather and like, oh, I'll be so depressed, so I need to save all the sunshine I can. Are you still a victim of weather, of your hormones, of the mood, of your kids' emotional state? No judgment, again, no judgment, but just start noticing. And realize that it does not have to be this way. That there are moms, and I don't mean the fake positive, whatever, show-off influencers online. There are real moms with the real struggle and like kind of like all the excuses in the world to be stressed out and feel like victims of being moms. And I'm talking about moms of 8 kids, moms who are expatriate and divorced, who have the kids on their own and who have to feed the family on half-time employee salary. I'm talking about moms with crazy hormones and autoimmune chronic diseases and ADHD symptoms and their kids having ADHD symptoms or being neurodiverse. All kinds of challenges. They are doing it. Because there came a point in their life when they decided, I'm not going to be the victim anymore. Enough. I will stop wasting my time waiting for my kids to change and have more emotional maturity and stability than I do. If I want my kids to be more cooperative, to listen more, then I need to be the healthy example of showing how respect and how boundaries look like. That doesn't mean I'm going to let them draw on the walls and throw the food on the floor and kill each other, kill themselves. Absolutely not. There need to be boundaries. There need to be respect. But that respect works both ways. And the consistent, healthy boundaries with natural consequences take some cleanup work on our end as parents. Okay. So that's who I'm talking to. And if you're still in this podcast episode, that tells me there's a part of you who gets that, who understands that, and who wants that. So congratulations already on that first step, because it could be very easy. It would be the easiest way actually for you to just keep pointing fingers and say, no, this is BS. My kids need to listen to me. They need discipline and period. I don't want them to be spoiled brats and bullies and snowflakes or whatever. No, we are not having, this is not who I'm talking to. And this is not the conversation I'm here to have. I'm here to talk to the people who get it and who want that. You understand that for your kids to have healthy boundaries, to be able to stand up for themselves, to be able to handle the pressure that will be put on them as they are growing up. All the judgment or difficulties, finding a job or career they like, building healthy relationship, avoiding bullies and toxic people, standing up for themselves and having the confidence to just go for their dreams. Who do you need to be as a mom? Surprise, surprise. You need to be a mom who's doing exactly the same. You need to lead the way, because more than what you say and preach and teach, they are not listening to that more than what they are observing you do every day. They are observing how you react when things are not going your way. They watch what you do and what you say when things get tough. That's how they are learning. So what kind of role model do you want to be for them? And how committed are you to your own healing and to cleaning that up? Because this is not about you being ready. You will never be ready. It's like, have you ever been ready for the biggest steps in your life? You had no idea what you were getting into, weren't you? Right? If you knew how hard it is to have kids, would you still do it? Maybe yes, but you would be much more like, I know I would. Right? We are not usually ready for the biggest life leaps we've taken. The question is, how committed are you to breaking any damaging generational patterns you don't want your kids to grow up with, and just taking that leap of faith with yourself and healing it up? Yeah, this is what this podcast is about. So what I'm going to do is to encourage you, take some time to reflect. How has your summer been? What parts of that you wish you could clean up? How do you want to go in the next phase of this calendar year? And if your kids are going to school, like, how do you want to show up as a present, grounded mom, even when things are stressful, even when there's lack of time and you're running late? Because these situations will happen, might happen, no matter how well you prepare and organize in advance. Stuff happens, always. But what is it about your energy? What tools do you already have that you can utilize? What lessons can you learn from the past to show up as the mom, as the parent in general you wish you had growing up? How you want to model stress and time pressure management in front of your kids. Okay? Not to put pressure on you to be 100% perfect always. That's not the point. It's okay to be human and make mistakes. Let's just try not to repeat the same mistakes over and over again and then apologizing for it, okay? Because that's not really giving a good message to our kids. Yeah, I get it. It's okay. Like if you yell, if you lose your patience, it's great that you apologize to your kids. But if it's happening every day, and it's always the same thing, you already understand. And I'm absolutely not judging you about it, but I don't have to remind you that's not okay. That needs to be cleaned up. Yeah. If you need any help with any of this, reach out. Wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast, this is exactly what I specialize at. This is exactly why I built and I keep growing my team, because it's not your fault if it doesn't work as a DIY. Trauma healing, especially generational developmental trauma healing, is not kind of like a do-it-yourself project. So there's no shame in reaching out and checking out, well, what are the opportunities and how could we do that, and could that help me too? Okay? So with that, dear supermom, congratulations on having the courage to even consider looking into your own triggers and having the courage to consider, well, maybe there's something I can improve. Maybe, of course, like my kids have some space for improvement. My spouse or partner have some space for improvement. But maybe it's time I start looking inwards as well. Maybe it's time I stop wasting my time and money on years and years of therapy, which is great. And at least I have somebody to talk to, but I really don't get any practical tools to start changing it. Maybe. In that case, I look forward to hearing from you, because this is how I decided to turn my mess into a passion. And this is actually what keeps me in check, perfectly imperfect, so that I keep and like keep doing my own practice and don't get complacent, don't get cocky and arrogant, like I know it all. And no, I keep practicing, and that's why I have so much appreciation for you and so much respect, because I know how hard it is. So well done, Supermom. I'm going to see you soon again. Bye.